Hi everyone, I've got a few projects to do today and I thought to bring you guys along. I want to plant some potatoes in a grow bag. I've got this at the farmer's market and they started to sprout, so I wanted to get at least some of them planted. I also need to fertilize the seedlings that are outside here. I have lots of them acclimating, some more in there. And the last thing we're going to do is pinch the broccoli on this GreenStalk and maybe even a little harvest. Let me open this up. The broccoli and the kohlrabi in here are growing really well. The variety of broccoli that I'm growing here, I've learned that I have to pinch in order to get the most amount of stems. I've grew this same variety last year. It's called burgundy broccoli, so it's an early purple sprouting broccoli that doesn't need to be overwintered, and it did great, but I didn't know I had to pinch it, so I might not even have seen it at its full potential, because I read that if you pinch the tops it's going to produce a lot more side shoots. So I'm excited to see how is that going to work out for us this year. But first I want to go ahead and plant these potatoes. As you can see, my garden space that I have there, that mulched area, it's still the same. We ended up not working on it this weekend. It was rainy and cold, so we decided that we're gonna push it for a little bit later in this week. But I still wanted to plant this, so I decided that I'm going to plant them in grow bags. For now, we're just going to use this grow bag here. I already have some soil on it, some leftover potting soil. I have my Vigo meal from the composter that I have been making this season. I have put some old dry potting soil in here, just wanted to mix it up. And this is all the veggie scraps that I've been drying out basically and processing on my over-the-counter kitchen composter. I want to mix that with a bit of this old potting soil first before I start putting my brand new potting soil. Just doing it now because I tend to forget sometimes when I'm talking the camera. Just make sure that I get some extra nutrients down here. And then I'm going to cover the potatoes with some of this Happy Frog potting soil. This is my favorite potting soil, and that's the one that I'm going to use to put together my new GreenStalks too. I'm planning to put up my lilac one this week, so stay tuned for that. And I have more bags for that as well, but I'm gonna use this open bag to fill this up, and whatever's left over of this is going to be for my planter too. I'm adding a little bit of water first here because the soil is looking very dry. As I say, just some old potting soil I had laying around. I dumped from some of my older pots in here. And here are the potatoes. So those are just purple potatoes I got at the farmer's market. They're organic, and I did not buy seed potatoes this year, so those are just regular potatoes. They're starting to sprout. Many times when you're planting potatoes in your garden, you want to use seed potatoes, which are certified disease-free, so you want to buy it from a seed company. I didn't do that this year, and these potatoes are grown locally. I got this at a local farmer's market that I trust. I've been buying there for a while. As you can see, I have just a couple inches of soil in the bottom of this bag, and I'm going to place my potatoes right on top of it. So I'll do 3 per bag here. I'll get the ones that had the most pronounced eyes. And I'm not cutting or doing anything to them. Some people would cut them and let it cure and then plant more so they can get more potatoes. And I'm just going to fill this up with soil up to here now, and I'll roll down this sides of this bag. I'll show you. And once these potatoes start growing, then I'm going to start filling up with soil as I go. I might put a bit more water before the soil too, because this is really dry, the soil that I had here. I may change the thing of this now. Be easier if it goes directly. There we go. On these potatoes. I really like this watering can. I can link it down below if you guys are interested too. Same with the soil and the bag. I did buy this in a garden center though. Just want to say that if you can support a local garden center, it's also always better. But if you can't find good quality potting soil around you, it is available online too, so you can get that. I used to buy it online when I was in New York City because no stores close to me carried Happy Frog. So after we did that, just put some good soil on top. Just a few scoops of this brand new soil. I really don't like losing soil, so let me move this, do it like that. Hopefully I won't have any falling. I will just cover a couple inches, and I've done this in the past, and that's what has worked for me. I guess last year, I can't fully remember, so maybe I should go back and watch my videos, but I think last year I might have tried doing a bucket and then covering all the way, and the potatoes still did sprout. But I think that I prefer to kind of see what's going on in there and feel as I go. I think this amount is good, this amount here, to start. And then what I like to do with these grow bags, I like to fold it a bit, because once it does start growing, that will let more sunlight in. Sometimes if the sides are tall, in the afternoon it might be shade. So I want them to get as much sun as they can. So it's giving another really good watering here. Now that we have them planted, just going to put it here on the side. I am now thinking, I don't know if we're gonna have a problem with squirrels digging them up, so I might put a grate on top of them. I have some of these grates here from an old greenhouse that I had, and it was not very good. The greenhouse was the little standing one by the wall, and it was plastic and just not great. But I saved the metal grates that are supposed to be the shelves to use to protect things that I have newly planted. So I'm going to put this here and put a weight on top, because they will find a way to take it out if it's not heavy enough. So I'm just going to put this heavy metal bar in here. Now the next project we're going to do is pinching the GreenStalk before fertilizing, because I need to go grab more water to fertilize my seedlings. I haven't really fertilized the GreenStalks either. They have been growing just with the soil that they have had here. I did amend this planter once I planted. I can link a video if you're curious to see how I did that. But I think they really liked what I put in here. I used the main organic tomato and veg compost. I'll put a little picture on the screen here so you can see how it looks like, and a link in the description down below too. I use that to feed the planter, to amend the planter. Just put a little layer on top of the soil to give some extra nutrients again after growing the last season. And everybody seems to be liking that very much. Everyone is looking very well. I usually tend to see them drooping a bit once I just remove the cover. I'm not really sure why they do that. I thought it was maybe the heat or the sun or the cold, but they bounce back up after they acclimate back to outside again. And I'm going to pinch the top of these broccolis and then probably fertilize it for the first time. It doesn't look like it needs it, but since I have the fertilizer out and the water, I'm just going to do it because I tend to forget to fertilize. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not the best about fertilizing. That's why I prefer putting compost and amending the soil in that nice way, so I don't have 2 hours rely on the fertilizer to make things keep growing. And this is especially important on container plants. In-ground plants can be a little bit easier to manage without fertilizer because they have access to a lot of the soil in there. Here it's all contained, and they can take up everything that's available for them pretty fast. So I'm just going to put the fertilizer in there and kind of try to keep in a schedule. I've been trying to do this since I started gardening, and I've never been able to, but once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'd like to fertilize them. I'm going to show you guys how they look a little bit closer before we start pinching them. I have broccoli and kohlrabi planted in here. I haven't labeled them, but I know the difference by the leaf shape. So the broccoli has this white stripe here in the middle, and the leaf is more round, and the purple kohlrabi has this purple stems, and the leaves has a bit of more of a serrated edge, let's say. It's still, you know, round, but you can tell the difference here, the broccoli and the kohlrabi. So I do not want to pinch the kohlrabi because that doesn't need to, and this is going to form a bulb underneath here. That's the part of the plant that we eat it, and the broccoli is going to produce the florets. So here is how the broccolis are looking, most of them. So I'm just going to go right in the middle. I was trying to read when to pinch broccoli. I never did it before, but some sources say that when you start seeing the head form on the top, I think there's a tiny little head down there. And even if it's not, I already have lots of leaf growth here that the shoots can come from in between. They will usually come from in between the leaf and the stem, so they'll have plenty of them to produce side shoots. So I'm just gonna go ahead and with my finger just pinch it like when I do with dahlias and sunflowers. So we're gonna take this little tiny growth tip off, and what this is going to do is going to tell the plant to, instead of growing this way and producing the main flower head here, it's going to all now send its energy to produce lots of side shoots on these little edges on the side. So hopefully that will give us a bigger broccoli yield this year. Even with not doing that last year, these guys produced amazing. So I'm super excited to see how much more food we can get with that. And this is also going to delay the harvest a bit, definitely, because if this was already forming a little broccoli here, we could probably harvest in a few weeks, but now it's going to delay a bit and start fresh from the sides, but that's okay if it's going to keep producing more. Just going to rotate the planter, nice and easy. All my planters are on the spinners with the wheels. But this broccoli kind of got dormant in the summer. It had a bit of a hard time with the heat, and I cut them down to the bottom because that's usually what I do with my plants. I never pull them up. And in the fall, it started sending side shoots and trying to grow again, which is crazy. I think I'm going to eat this. I'm going to save all of these little buds and throw it in a salad or something. I don't want to waste it. So see, so that's another one. I've got to make sure I don't miss them while I'm talking. If I do miss it, maybe we can make a little comparison. Actually, you know what? I'll leave the ones in the bottom, not pinched. Maybe so I can have one harvest early and then the other ones, I can wait a little more. Let's do that. Little experimentation is always good. Okay, turn it one more time. Did I pinch this one? Not yet. So pinch this guy. Another one here. The top ones, it's good to pinch because you always want to keep your bigger plants in the bottom on the GreenStalk, and maybe if those grow to full size, they'll grow a little bigger. And I think that's all. Oh wait, that's the top ones. The very top ones, I can't forget to do that too. Beautiful. Oh, I'm so excited we got to do this. I'm super curious to see how they're going to do. And here, a little spoiler alert, are the things that I'm planning to plant on my brand new GreenStalk. That's right there. So that's coming up soon. I have 2 more soils, plus that should make enough for me to fill that up. Sorry about my tripod in there. But planning to do some pansies, some broccoli, and some of this beautiful lettuce that I soil blocked. Look how nice they look. But we can talk more about it when you see the new video. These are some strawberries that I started from seed. And okay, since I'm here too, another thing I want to do, because speaking of putting together my new GreenStalk, I want to use some of these seed houses for some seeds that I'm going to sow in them. So I'm going to take it off from this guy. I did this in the winter and sowed some seeds. As you can see, some of them have germinated. All of these guys, even as babies like this, can take the cold. So I'm just gonna take most of the seed houses because I gotta take care of this GreenStalk too. This is my oldest GreenStalk that I have here. I have this guy for almost 5 years now. Still going strong, but I need to give it some maintenance. It's been just like this for the whole winter, so I'll have to amend the soil a little bit, do a little bit of cleanup. I have a lot of seedlings. I think this is from a lemon balm that I had here. Some of the things came on its own, but some things I sold. They're very little now. I can't really tell the difference between the thyme and the pansy seedlings, but once they grow a little more, they'll be okay. I'll be able to tell. So oh, look at that. I don't know what this is. It's a pansy. Oh, this is good. That one was probably volunteered for last year and overwintered by the size it is right now. Taking all of this out, so we'll use what we need for a new GreenStalk, and then after that, maybe a little later in the week, I'll come and take care of this guy as well. It's needing some love. And I noticed there's some algae growth here on the top of the soil, which is usually because lots of moisture. So let's let it breathe for a bit and we'll see, and we'll take care of it soon. Very nice. I'm excited to see what those little babies are. So once they show this true set of leaves, we'll be able to tell. Let me just go inside, put these little broccoli buds in and get some water so we can start fertilizing the seedlings. Okay, I got the water and the fertilizer. Let me just move these things out of the way. My coffee. And I'm going to put here the things that I want to fertilize. I'm going to plant this tomorrow, probably very soon. So I'm not going to do these guys over here. They're not in the tray too, so we just fall to the bottom. But I'll put this on the side. And I'm going to move everything that I want to fertilize here. Not everything, a few things, just so it's easier for me. These are a few things that I didn't start with you guys. I started doing really good with starting my earlier things together with you guys on the videos inside. I got a little bit busy with work, and these guys here I had to kind of do on my own, so they got done fast. It takes me longer to do them when I film. So I have some flowers in here that I also want to plant in the landscape, and I'll go more over about them in a future video. And these are all snapdragons from some old seeds that I had, and I just broadcasted them in a little takeout container, and tons of them came out. So I separated them, and I plan to plant these around the landscape too. They're all gonna get fertilized, and I'm going to fertilize those seedlings in the back also, and probably the GreenStalks like I said. So I like to use this fish and seaweed organic fertilizer. I always get asked about fertilizer every year once the garden seasons progress and you see how the plants are doing. So this is what I use. I also use the Grow Big from Fox Farms. I don't have it right now. Sometimes on my newer seedlings or in the GreenStalk, but I prefer to use this because it's not as strong of a fertilizer, it's organic, and it has lots of a lot of good bacteria in it that kind of boosts the health of the soil in general too. And this one is like the most simple one. It's just fish and seaweed. I sometimes use the one with the red label that has like tomato and veg. Those have extra micronutrients. I think there's calcium in there, some other things. So I start with this usually in the beginning of the season. This one's a 2-3-1. It's a gentle fertilizer, but does have some nitrogen that they need in the beginning. And I have been having luck with them, so I keep using it. So the way I use this is a 2-gallon watering can. We're going to start with the seedlings first. And it says you need 1/8 of a cup per gallon. So this would be a 1/4 cup for all of this. But I usually don't measure or do it precisely. I'll just make sure I shake it and I dump some in here. And since it says I can do a 1/4 cup, I am not as worried about putting too much or too little. I think it's forgiving. And just throw a little bit in there. It doesn't smell the greatest, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes some batches come in more mild. This one's been particularly fishy, and that's why I like to do it outside, and I'll leave them out here for a little bit before I put them back inside again. So we're gonna gently water those. And I am not following the seedling recommendation. The seedling recommendation, you're supposed to use them a little bit more diluted. Those are some flowers that take a little longer to grow, and they already have a couple, 2 sets of leaves. So when that happens, I feel more comfortable to use a bit of a stronger fertilizer. But since this is not a strong fertilizer to begin with, it's harder to burn your plants. But if you don't have experience, or if it's the first time you're fertilizing anything, it does have instructions on the back of the label. This one actually does not say seedlings, some others do, but usually you do half strength, so whatever they say, to use half of the amount. But I have started these guys for a while, at least 4 weeks, so they're okay getting a bit of this more stronger fertilizer. And those are, especially these guys, they're in mini soil blocks. They definitely are soaking up whatever they have very fast in there. All right, so that was our first batch. Now we're going to move on to that table over there. So you don't need to use too much too, because you don't want a lot of it sitting in the tray without being used. If that happens, I will take the tray out and then just put it in one of my bigger potted plants to give them some fertilizer too. Just a little shower, give them a little food. I like to put it on top of them, let's say to shower them with it instead of just putting directly on the bottom tray, because they kind of act also as a foliar feed. Gentle foliar feed, so their leaves can get some love also. I still have a little bit of fertilizer left, so I'm just going to fertilize these guys here. These are a few things that I grew. I put it while I was separating things, and I didn't have a tray to put them or something, so I have some stock in here, some pansies. There's a raspberry that's coming back from last year that a friend of mine gave to me. I put one anemone there just to check it, the progress. I never grew anemones before. I have some more planted in the front, but I wanted one next to me so I can kind of learn about the plant growth. And back here, I actually direct sowed with some peas, which probably don't need the fertilizer, but I'm just going to put a little bit of it anyway. And I'll show you that to you guys in a minute because they have always sprouted, and that's exciting. I forgot to show them in the garden tour. Now I'm just going to finish this up first, put this in the tulips. I don't even know if they need it either, but since I have the extra fertilizer, just gonna finish it up on my plants. So these are bags with garlic and shallots that I started in the winter, in the fall. And the shallots are looking okay. I have a few coming up, but my garlic is not looking good. So Hopefully with the weather warming up, it has more things showing up in here. I only have one sprout, which is kind of sad. And I've got to take care of this planter too. The tomato in there died, unfortunately, that I was trying to overwinter. But I put this out here so I remember that I have to care for the soil and have this planter available to use as well. All right, just grab some more water, refilled my watering can. And we're going to do this GreenStalk next. And for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I will refill in the other bench so it's easier for you guys to see. I'll bring this over here. This is my watering can. Just shake it again a little bit. I'm gonna add it, not really counting. And I always like to fertilize my green stalks like this instead of just throwing some fertilizer in here and coming with a hose. I just feel like I have more control when I do this. Going to turn this lid around here. Has the beautiful new lids that's been closed, which is good. And I'm going to use this leaf here, this hole, open it. Let me check actually. Oh, it's clean, amazing. And fertilize through here. I also think it's good that this is covered because this fertilizers smell a little bit and sometimes some critters get attracted to it. So I will just pour this in here with the hose, with the nose. I have always done this on my 5 years, almost 5 years or 4 seasons growing with a GreenStalk. I just feel there's more control, and I know how much I'm putting there. I find that 2 gallons, it's a good amount for this size planter. Sometimes some even come out from the bottom, which I hope doesn't happen this time because I don't want to waste any fertilizer. But 2 gallons has been good for me. That's what I do when I do remember to fertilize them. Let's see if I can change. And I just patiently fill the reservoir. There we go. And I'm gonna go this whole thing, and hopefully that will be good for all of these plants here. And the good thing about this fertilizer again is it boosts the soil microbes and life. So I like to add that too, just to make sure everything that's living here is happy. I can hear the water going down. Let me see if I can put my mic close so you guys can hear too. I hope you can. I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. But I hope that doesn't drip too much. But you can never know, depends on how moist these planters are. I haven't watered in a while because the soil stayed nice and moist in here since I planted. So I hope it won't drain too much, but it's fine. It seems like it's going good. And now I'm gonna go ahead and move to the other one that I haven't even showed you guys yet. On this video at least. So I'm gonna open this up and show how the greens are doing. They're beautiful. This is my 7-tier leaf planter in the basket weave. It's the same model of the one that I'm putting together, a new one, on this week, sometime this week. Ooh, hopefully in a couple days. Gosh, so beautiful. I want to harvest already from here, but I'm waiting so you guys can see. Again, this one hasn't been fertilized, but I did amend the soil before planting, and everybody seems to be very happy with that. And because I've been keeping it covered, there's no bug damage. There's some spiders living here, which is good, so they can eat the fungus gnats and early aphids that could come up. But this GreenStalk's looking very green this time. And if you guys been following me for a while, you know I like to put some purple in there for interest. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a couple of these bok choys and then add the purple ones that you guys saw earlier when I was fertilizing. Some of them are ready to harvest. I'm happy to eat them this size. Oh my gosh. I have sown some peas in here. Just noticed they also have just germinated. Look at that, I have a little pea. These ones are a dwarf sugar snap pea. I think they're called Sugar and they're the same ones that I sowed here. And I told I was going to show you guys. These are sugar ants, and I soaked those and I planted them in here a few weeks ago. It took a little time to come up, but it was cold for us, and they're finally coming up. That's one brand new here, so that's exciting. And these guys are much bigger, and I think it's because this was covered. Here's our friend spider that's helping us with pest control. Did I do any more? Let's hunt for peas. Oh, another one here, beautiful. So okay, I should definitely harvest this guy. Look how big it looks, so you can have some space to grow. Oh, I'm so excited. I was not sure if they're gonna come up or not. I didn't even remember, to be honest. Sometimes I just stick stuff around in the garden hoping for the best. There's another one here when I have extra seedlings. And these I'm gonna let it grow, like just trail down. I might use some of the new GreenStalk trellis on that GreenStalk over there. Sorry about the covers here on the side, because I did buy them, but I am just excited to see how this would do, just trailing down and making it look nice. Okay, so we found a few peas. There's probably some more in there, but back to focusing here. Let's go ahead and fertilize this guy. I also got a basket so we can harvest some of the chives. I said in the beginning I was going to do it. This one is nice. The lid is different color than the green, and it has a little arrow to open this way. I went to the GreenStalk office and warehouse last month, and they were telling me there that some people would try to open like this. Don't open like this. It's not, you're gonna break it. The correct way to open the lid, if you have one of those new lids, is to just slide to the side. Okay? All right, so now let's fertilize it also. This one has 7 tiers, so there's more watering discs in here. I'm gonna actually go to the back so you guys can see me. I'll put this watering can in my face, which I probably did on the last one. I'll move this out. There we go. But this one has 7 discs. So this one, usually, when I do the 2 gallons, it doesn't really drain through the bottom very much. The 5 tiers sometimes does, but it didn't this time. Yay, amazing. So I don't like wasting fertilizer, so it's always a good sign. I'll take a look on how things are going. In a couple of days, I might just fertilize in the bottom 2 tiers. You could add more, then wait to drain into the bottom to make sure everything is fertilized. But just don't. I have all this lawn in here, and I have a river behind there in our new property, so I just don't want to waste any fertilizer or have some extra stuff going around if I don't need to. So they kind of don't need it anyway. They're growing beautifully. We're just doing this for as best practice. But things like this, maintenance, are very important. I guess most of the videos I do is just showing you guys how I planted and showing the garden around. But this is really what makes the garden be successful. It's the amount of time you spend tending to it. And then I tend to do things like this almost every day. Now the garden is still quite young, so not as much. But when I have everything growing, in the middle of the season, I'm out here every day in the morning, super happy with my morning coffee. This is my favorite part of the day, is to come out and take care of my garden. And I think that has helped me have a successful garden too, because if you keep an eye on it and you always come and check it, it's most likely to see pests coming sooner or identify problems sooner too. I have to say that because I am covering all the time, I have groundhogs living there. I just saw one too before starting this video. Everything is very healthy. So I love that I don't have any blemishes on my leaves yet. Also, we are in a new location. We just moved here, so the pests might not, talking about bugs, aphids, might not know that we're here yet. But I did reuse soil from all of this. This all came with the soil that I originally put on this. I don't change my soil every year in the GreenStalk. I just amend it. I leave what's in there, and I top it off with a layer of something nutritious like a compost or a very good potting soil too. So that's what I did. But so far so good. I don't see any overwintering aphids or anything coming and eating them. I mean, look at that. Look how healthy these guys look. I'm so proud. It gets a little heavier after you water. So it's already heavier than it was. 1 second. It's a little heavier than it was when I just opened. But if you rotate the whole thing, it all looks great. I'm also not very great, I'll be honest with you guys, at rotating. I sometimes forget to do it, and it's still doing good. Maybe this side stayed in the sun for a little longer. It does look a bit bigger to me. It's fine because we're just gonna harvest from this first, not a problem. And then we leave the other, I'm gonna leave the other side to the sun. The sun comes, rises over there, and then comes all the way this way. So it gets more morning sun on that side. And before I finish, I almost forgot, let's harvest these chives. This will be the first harvest from the GreenStalks this year. I love to grow chives in the GreenStalk. You just cut and come again. I already harvest some actually. Maybe not the first one, second harvest. I can see there's some cuts in there. Sometimes when I need something for dinner, I just come here real quick and harvest. And I not always film it, but there's only a few sprigs, so that doesn't count. But now I'm going to give a whole haircut before they flower. I love to actually harvest the chive blossoms too, but I'm just going to delay a little bit and then just harvest a whole handful before they send some new growth again. And I'm going to use this for cooking. this week. It's a little handful of chives. And these are gonna grow back in no time. They usually grow within a couple days after I harvest too, so that's great. So let's just put this in here in our little basket. And there's nothing really else that I want to harvest. I will wait for the bok choy just a couple more days, and then we'll do a bigger harvest from there and a replanting. But now too, let me show you guys this before I forget, since this is an update video. If you watched my last garden tour, I said that I got some bulk compost to add to our new vegetable garden in our garden beds when they're built. And I wanted to test it if that compost was good. It didn't have any herbicides or anything on it, or anything that could damage my plants, since I'm growing for edible plants. When I called to place the order, they said that it was a leaf compost, but that's all that they knew about it. So I decided to get it anyway, because it's the only one that I could get bulk in my region and get delivered. But before I added to my food crops, I wanted to do a little test, and a great way to do that is to sow a bean seed in your compost. So just put pure compost in this pot and added a couple bean seeds in here, and you can see that they both germinated and they're looking good. So these leaves are nice and green, they have a good shape onto them. This other one is coming up. If this was not very great, from what I've learned, if you do this little bean test in your compost and the leaves come out nice and regular shaped, it's a good sign. Sometimes if you didn't have herbicides or anything chemical harsh, like something harsh that could harm the plants on it, the beans plants are very sensitive to it, and they would have come out distorted or yellow or burnt into the leaves. So this is a good sign, and I'm happy that I'll be able to use this compost right away in our veggie garden too. I was a little concerned, but I really wanted to do it because it's so much cheaper to buy it in bulk. So thumbs up, we're good in our compost test. I'm going to let these beans keep growing here and see what's going to happen. I might even plant them in the beds over there too once I have it fenced it up, because beans are very tasty and a lot of the wildlife that's around here would love to eat it, including the groundhogs and deer and raccoon, etc. So I will keep it protected until I'm ready to plant it out there too. I do not remember the variety, but it's okay. I'm just glad that it's sprouted and it's doing good, and I can use this compost right away in my veggie garden. If you want to see how all of this are going to do in our garden this year, and also the build of the main vegetable garden back there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you found it helpful. If you want to see how I planted this, I'm going to link the video right over here, since this is the one that I'm going to harvest next. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.